Hey everyone, Economic Ninja here. Goldman Sachs has just issued a warning about the price of gold. Now, when I say warning, I want you to understand that they're straight up saying that gold is going higher. But it's a warning to all money managers and people in the financial institutions or that work in financial institutions around the world. And the reason why is because none of them like gold. Most financial advisors, most financial experts don't like gold. They don't want to sell you gold because they don't make that much money when they convince you to buy gold. They love the manipulation and the fees associated with selling you financial instruments. Gold, they assure they can sign you up for a safe, depository. They can manipulate the price of paper gold with derivatives, short selling, things like that. But it pales in comparison to the sheer amount of money financial advisors or experts make when they sell you other types of financial instruments. If you understand this, type 1. If you don't, type 2. And then we'll tailor this around that understanding, okay? Now, this warning from Goldman Sachs saying that gold prices are forecast to climb to record high. What they're talking about is they're saying that it's going to go to $2,700 from its near $2,500. And this is just story was out as of August 30th out of Bloomberg. But we just saw gold hit 2,600, right? It's cruising. And to say that gold's strength is impressive right now is, quite frankly, in my opinion, an understatement. The reason why I say that is because gold right now sitting before this next economic downturn, and it's an economic downturn, right? Everyone's just waiting for the official word that recession is out. Once the official word comes out of this special committee from the government, then the media, because they're talking heads, just repeats it. It is going to cause the common man and woman, the people that do not pay attention to finances, to stop spending their money. I know it sounds crazy. It is an emotional thing, and it will affect markets. But as of right now, before that official announcement is put out, gold's sitting at like 4 times the level it was, price level it was in 2008 when this announcement came out. This is phenomenal. All right. When I started the channel, I talked about economic cycles, and we're going to go through one, and I'm going to explain it as it happens. And it's a multi-year thing. Talked about real estate cycles, stock market cycles, booms and busts. And I said, you watch gold. I also talked about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin was sitting, I don't know, it was like $2,500. I said, you may want to buy some of that. You may want to buy some gold, but I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a dude with a brock and a dream. I am an investor, right? Now, fast forward 3 years, and the price of Bitcoin's near 60 grand. The price of gold sitting at 26. Anybody that went out and did that is probably doing very well financially, right? But the financial advisors don't like this. They want to sell you stocks. They want to churn your account over and over so they can get exorbitant fees, charge you exorbitant fees. Well, this is what Goldman Sachs has to say. The price of gold has soared to new all-time highs this year, and it's positioned to climb into 2025, rising to all new record highs, according to Goldman Sachs research. It says the precious metal increased more than 20% this year. If you bought gold in January, you have outpaced most financial instruments, or indexes, and most of the stock market. Most of the stock market. Yeah, sure, there's 2 or 3 or 4 stocks that have done better. Could you have picked it? Here we go. They're looking at $2,700 price, but this is why. They name a handful of reasons, and this is where you need to watch. They say this: in this softer cyclical environment, gold stands out as the commodity that we have the highest confidence in near-term upside. Goldman Sachs research strategists Samantha Dart and Linda Thompson-Wright. They point out 3 factors in particular that could push gold prices higher. Also, do me a favor, if you own gold, hashtag gold down in the comment section. We got to get this information out, because the more people that buy gold, the better it is for you, the better it is for me. Because when we have more buyers than sellers, the price rises. Central bank purchases. These are some of the things they're talking about. Since Russia's invasion in Ukraine of 2022, central banks have been buying gold at a brisk pace, roughly tripling the amount prior, Goldman Sachs research experts. The buying spree to persist amid concerns about financial sanctions and the growing U.S. sovereign debt burden. On top of that, you remember I did a story, I don't know, about 4 or 5 days ago. The Russia announced that they are in this next cycle. It was what? Started last week. I think it goes to like October 7th, if my memory serves me right. They are increasing their gold purchases. I believe they said 6 or 7-fold. They're going to buy that much more in this next time period because they stopped for a little bit and now they're catching up. All these countries around the world are buying up gold except for the US. Pretty interesting, huh? I personally do not believe that we have gold in Fort Knox. I believe it is a straight up lie. That's why when Timothy Geithner was the last public person that I remember going in to Fort Knox, they wouldn't let a single camera in there. Why? Cameras are allowed in when the Queen went into the vaults in England. Cameras are allowed when Putin goes into his vaults. Hey, look at President of China's in there. They got cameras and they're all taking photos. And the reason why they're doing that is because America doesn't have its gold. Germany proved that. They straight up proved it. Then Venezuela had to go up there and send a warship, park it in New York and say, give us our freaking gold. Making statements. See, the U.S., Timothy Geithner walks in, he comes back out, and the only thing he said, this is all he said, gold is good. That's all he said. And the moron reporters, like the same ones that they put in the White House, that believe anything that chick says, that lying sack of filth, I mean, straight up. The government is straight up lying to the nation and the world. They don't have the gold. If you believe that, type 10. And that should scare you. Now, not in the type of way that you should run out and buy a ton of gold. That would not be that bright. As a matter of fact, wealthy people have diversification. Very, very important. And they don't throw all their eggs in their basket, but they also don't go all in on a percentage. They have equal weighted baskets. All right. So here we go. They named the central bank purchases. Next, Fed rate cuts. The second the Fed cuts rates, gold takes off. However, that's not always necessarily true. Let me explain. When the Fed started lowering rates, back in 2007? They were lowering them ahead of the official announcement for a recession. Why? Because unemployment was rising, things were going bad. The stock market was also falling. The reason why the stock market is not falling right now, with economic activity not being that great, quite frankly, it's not. It's because of inflation. People are racing into the stock market to try and get yield because they're losing money to inflation in their savings accounts. So they're speculating. See, just like the Roaring 20s. Anytime you have inflation, you have heightened levels of stock markets. However, those levels, whatever the stock market's at, never stay up with the price increase of food and energy. Okay? So, but when the Fed starts lowering rates, it's because things are bad and gold tends to fall because the stock market falls. Now, this time is different, and we don't really have a good barometer or a good place setting or an example in history, in recent history, except for the late 70s, early 80s inflation increase. Okay. But by and large, the reason why gold is so strong is because they're waiting for rates to lower, because when rates lower, that is coupled with Federal Reserve and government intervention into the markets, meaning they're going to stimulate the economy, which means more money, which means the gold price should go up. Okay. They also note potential, and if you could do me a big favor, let's straight up call it out. I'm getting crushed on this, what's going on with the algorithm. If you like this type of content, if you don't mind hitting the subscribe button and thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. All right. So next, they note potential geopolitical shocks. I don't think there's any word potential needs to be in there right now. Gold offered significant value as a portfolio hedge against developments such as tariffs, Fed subordination risk, and debt sustainability fears. Think about if K-pop gets in. What's going to happen to the price of gold? I mean, that's going to be nutty. Our researchers see roughly 15% upside in gold prices under a rise in financial sanctions equal to the rise seen in 2021. Now they come in to talk about a couple other things. They say investors may need to be more selective when investing in other commodities, given softening in the global economy, according to Goldman Sachs research. Our strategists make note of several challenges. Now, when we talk about these other national resources, I'm going to hold silver aside. Look at silver. It's almost, is it at 31 bucks? What's the price of silver right now? If you own silver, hashtag silver. I love silver more than gold. I said that when I started the channel. I said I put the majority of my money in silver as far as my precious metals allocation, and silver has doubled in the price, 100% increase in the last 3 years. On a percentage basis per year, that's a pretty darn good return, right? But there's a lot of people super excited about the S&P. How much has the S&P went up in the last 3 years? Can you let me know that? Since silver was 15 bucks when we started this, what was the S&P at? I'm just curious at the difference, if one of you can throw that in there. Now, oil. China's oil demand growth has slowed in part because of structural road fuel switching. Then the team reduced its range for Brent prices by $5 to 70 to 85 per barrel. And its 2025 average Brent forecast $76. So that's showing weakening, right? That always happens going into a downturn. Then you have industrial metals like copper. Refined copper production has been elevated even as China's copper consumption appears to have fallen in March and early summer. But they talk about it having a continued weakness. Then you have natural gas. An upcoming wave of global liquefied natural gas supply will hit the market from 2025 and grow significantly through most of the second half of the decade. So they're seeing more supply going, right? And then you add that to what's it called? The price of these commodities, when you know that the supply is growing and the economy is slowing, that's devastating for these kind of commodities. So they say that really they're looking at, and again, when I talk about investing in gold, I hate funds. This is paper gold is the devil, because that's how they stopped the Hunt brothers speculating in silver, right? They got them into paper, and then they dumped a bunch of naked shorts. They had them leveraged on margin, and they couldn't cover it, okay? So this is why it's important for everyone to have a little bit of physical. When you become wealthier, you are forced, it's just a no-brainer. You're going to have it stored, allocated gold storage, right, or silver storage. But you need to actually have some kind of receipt or hold it yourself. That's the most important thing. And I think you're going to see massive returns coming in the next couple of years for gold. Now, that's just me. I'm not a financial advisor. But I think it's really important to note that once you hold precious metals, physical silver or gold, you now, thank you so much, Kevin, for the super chat. You now have something that God created, right? Man cannot create that. And I think it's important for everyone to have a little bit of it because of the spiritual aspects. No joke. The stuff throws off frequencies. That's a little deep. I know if there's some people scratching their heads right now, but it's a big thing. It's a whole different video. But I think it's a really exciting time to be alive and be an investor, because as my gold keeps going up, I'm watching real estate fall in big parts of the country that I'm going to be buying up real estate in. I don't care about small town USA. I know it's crazy because you make the bulk of your money in these large metro areas. As they collapse in price, you buy, and then they rise in price and you sell. That's just how it works. I hope you got something out of this. The economic ninja has to go have a garage sale now because I'm moving. So hope you got something out of this. Have a great day. Ninja is out.